Torch is the new weapon.
So Torch is the new weapon. This is your skill 4. It's called Blaze Breaker. For this skill, we wanted it to be a little more like just like a weapon. You know, we feel like the magical classes like Guardian and Mesmer like have their own kind of magical way of using torches, but with the Warrior, we just wanted him to like just hit stuff with it. And so he just hits the ground, and it creates this really cool cascade of attacks. And each of those rocks that pop out of the ground. Hit up to 15 targets, but that's probably going to be a little less likely.
Yeah.
So this next skill is called Flames of War, and what it does is it sets you on fire. It doesn't actually put burning on you, it actually removes conditions, because the fire kind of burns away the conditions. And it'd be kind of silly if we set you on fire for that.
It sets your character on fire, not the enemy.
Yeah. Well, no, it sets them on fire too. It also sets enemies around you on fire. And it turns you into, as you can see, a mobile fire field. So it's good.
Oh, seriously.
It's good.
Okay, so how about utility skills?
Let's
take a look at those.
Utility skills next. So this is your heal. It's called Blood Reckoning. This is a damage-based heal in that it converts all of your outgoing damage into healing. You get a 30% of your outgoing damage is converted to healing normally, and if you crit, it converts 50%.
Jeez.
You can get a lot of damage out of that. All right, so this next one, this is the one we talked about on Zam. This is Wild Blow. It lets you basically just knock back a guy, but if you knock back a guy and he hits another guy, he will knock the other guys back in turn. I like the moose. The moose.
There's
the moose example is my favorite.
This is like accidentally becoming a POI thing, is just beating the crap out of moose.
Yeah,
many moose.
This one's pretty fun. It's named after the Guild Wars 1 skill, Wild Blow.
Yay.
The Guild Wars 1 skill, Wild Blow, was unblockable and always critical hits. I was going to do that originally on this one, but they told me I shouldn't make it unblockable on top of that. But it does have a 100% crit rate on the first hit. That first hit there will always crit.
Yeah, seriously, unblockable on top of that might be a little much.
Yeah, for that.
Okay.
So this next one is called Shattering Blow, and you summon a rock, this big kind of magma rock in front of you, and then you punch it. You just punch the rock. And the rock explodes and sends its kind of fragments out and hits everyone in front of you. And you can also punch back fireballs, like you can see it in one of these examples here. I have the golem like shoot a fireball at me.
How many targets?
This hits up to 5 targets in your frontal arc. This is the only rage skill that you cannot use while moving. This will actually lock your position, and that's because we have to make it so that you can line up with the rock, because otherwise you wouldn't punch the rock. If you like activated it and then step back, you wouldn't hit the rock properly. It's got a very short cast time, so we try not to like lock you in place for too long. But if you time it right, yeah, you can punch back fireballs or punch back projectiles. It's pretty fun.
Punching fireballs is the best concept.
Well, you're punching that one right, but
so I do like the idea of punching a rock, but you have to admit that punching a fireball is infinitely cooler.
Right. So this next one is called Sundering Leap. You basically just leap to a location, and everyone at the point of origin, at the target point, gets 10 stacks of vulnerability.
I'm going to push your chair off the camera.
All right, and so this is the elite. This is Headbutt. It is a short-range dashing attack, and it stuns the enemy for 3 seconds, and it stuns you for 1 second. It's just kind of a fun skill. It's got a pretty low recharge. I think what was it 20 seconds? Yeah, it's got a 20-second recharge, so it's a really strong CC on a short recharge, but it does stun you. Works really well with Outrage, actually, because you can actually break the stun from that.
Well, you want to look at the F1 skills?
Right, so let's talk about the F1 skill next.
This is what I'm excited about.
The F1 skill...
this is the thing you're excited about.
This is so good.
These are some of the new burst skills. When you activate the F1, you gain new burst skills. This is the sword burst skill. And what it does is it changes your standard sword flurry attack to shoot fireballs.
Oh, come on.
So real quick, you have access to your old burst skills.
Yeah, you still have your access to your old burst skills, but once you activate Berserk,
then you
have the new ones.
Okay, cool.
They flip over as soon as you activate. This one's pretty fun. It will actually this also cuts projectiles out of the air. Like when you're swinging the sword, it'll cut any incoming projectiles out of the air. I like that one though.
Yeah,
I can see why.
This next one is the Great Sword burst skill. It's called Arcing Seer. It's got a very similar effect to the original Great Sword attack. You spin around, you hit guys around you. But what this one does is it creates kind of this expanding ring of fire. And you can interact with the ring of fire again, similar to how warriors can interact with fire fields. I like to activate this one and spin through it to get some extra burning bolts. You can also throw your Great Sword to get a projectile finisher off of that.
Then we get to the bow.
Okay, so this is the bow.
Oh
this
my
is
gosh.
Scorched Earth. This one basically just fires a projectile, and there is a trail of fire that goes along with it. This one, acts a little differently than the standard one. The arrow itself doesn't really hit, but it's the fire fields that do all the damage. The fire fields last a little shorter, I think, than the max duration of the normal longbow, but they last. But you can cast this one a lot more often. It also covers I think it's 6 radius 120s or something like that. It's got 1,000 range or something like that.
This is great. This is great, actually, not just for PvP, but also really good in PvE. So I really like that one.
So this is the rifle shot. It's pretty similar to the old one. It doesn't just do damage though; it also dazes. And whenever it hits a target, it explodes. So if you're running the piercing trait, which I am here, you can get a lot of hits. This is the mace burst skill. This is called Skull Grinder. It's similar to Skull Crack in that it interrupts. It doesn't do the same type of interrupt, but it applies a lot of things. It's weakness, cripple, blind, confusion, and it dazes. Both of those in your interrupt together, this is pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's really good.
This is the hammer skill. This one's really fun. It doesn't stun anymore, but it creates these shockwaves that kind of cascade out in 5 directions. And each of those cascades is a knockback. It can only knock back a target once.
I'm going to need the moose back in here.
Yep. This next one is the axe attack. This is Decapitate.
This is mine. I love it.
It's very similar to Eviscerate. It does a little less damage, but after it hits the initial target, it will shockwave behind that target and hit additional targets behind them.
What's better than one Eviscerate? 5.
Yeah. The skill works. So the F2 skill is Berserk Mode, and Berserk Mode can only be activated after you've gained full 30 adrenaline.
Okay.
So until then, you act more or less like a regular warrior, and then it kind of
It fits.
Thematically is kind of a build-up
Right.
to get you get angry, then you go berserk. While you're berserk Mode lasts. Let me double check to make sure I got the time right. We've been adjusting this as we go through.
Yeah.
It lasts for 15 seconds, and it will replace basically when you activate it. This is in your F2 slot. So when you activate it, it will flip over your F1 slot to be all of those primal bursts that we've just described. And